buddy. Hey, pal.
Hey, Cloudy. What's going on, dude?
Welcome to it. It is season 4, episode 12. It is the last one of the season for episode 12 for the season, season 4, if I could spit that out. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
It's been a rough start here tonight, Cloudy.
We're hustling here.
We got some technical difficulties going on. It's all good. Professionals.
You're using a VIC-20 to do this tonight?
I am. Right? It's a Commodore 64. I got it in 1985 for Christmas. Man, is it speedy.
Just humming, eh?
Yeah, buddy.
I was trying to do some math. Would this be our 50th episode? Would it be? So 4 seasons at 12 episodes. We did 1 special episode. So we had 13 one season. That puts us at 49.
Yes.
We had the Christmas pod.
Christmas special. Yeah, this is episode 50.
Boom.
Seems like just yesterday that a pandemic started and we said, hey, let's have a podcast.
And here we are. Here we are. What fun.
I'm having a blast, buddy. It's been good.
All right. Let's thank our sponsors, Tim, who's been with us right from the very, very start.
Over at the Health House. Check her out at the healthhouseck.com. And our good friend Chris McLeod at Realty House. If you're looking to buy or sell, this is the week to do it. Hit him up. And our old friends at the Pakistan Super League. We just want to be friends.
Have you noticed that? They're leaving us unread, Pakistan Super League.
Yeah.
That's just not really into the friendship, are they?
They're not. We're trying. Things fell through. Spoiler alert. The Pakistan Super League MVP, who we thought would be on this week.
Oh, no.
Is not. Tune in to season 5, episode 1.
Jimmy looks like he's joining us tonight. A Walkerville Purity Pilsner tonight.
The easy drinking Purity Pilsner. Delicious.
When I think Purity, I think Jimmy.
And Pilsners.
And Pilsners. What you drinking, bud? Before we get to our guest, which I should mention is a return guest. It is Joe Siddle, who's just logging on right now as we speak. So we'll let Joe get set up. Tim, what you drinking is what we start off with. What you drinking, bud? And I finished a round of golf today, and I thought I'm going to run by and I'm going to grab 3 beers I've never had before. I want to go different. I want to go off the chart. So as I'm walking into the Sobeys, I've got my slides on after a round of golf. I got socks on. I look like a complete moron. I blow a tire. Sandal goes under a car. So
sounds like you were drinking.
I'm a disaster. Was not. So tonight we're going to start with a hazed and confused, a juicy IPA from Muskoka Brewery. You've had this?
Yes, and it describes a lot of things that are going on these days.
Never had it. Going to have that tonight.
Delicious.
From Bose. David's Tea London Fog. This, if you had this as well, of course you have.
Very, very good. Very delicious.
And then
that's a morning drinking beer right there.
Oh, and
not that I've ever tried that.
But then I saw some lug tread, and I'm like, well, I've got to have that from Bose as well. So those are my 3 tonight. Timmer, what you drinking, bud?
Buddy, when I was looking for beers today, I was thinking about our breweries that are in the gray lockdown areas here in Ontario right now. So I have a Collective Arts IPA number 16, which is International Women's Day Elderflower and Grapefruit IPA. So Collective Arts is in Hamilton. I have one from our friends at Refined Fool. Yep. The old Zane lost his avocado bag. Again, they unfortunately are in gray lockdown right now. And then I got a bit of a collab here. I'm excited about this one. This is East of the Sun. It is a collaboration from one of my favorite breweries. It's Dominion City out of Ottawa, and they collaborated with Bellwoods, which is in the lockdown gray of Toronto. So that's what I'm drinking tonight, supporting our locked down breweries in Ontario.
Let's pull in our guest, Timmer, and to see if he's joining us for a beverage here tonight. It is Joe Siddle. Hey, Joe, how you doing, bud?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Oh, yes.
Good.
You guys heard of this?
I saw it today at the liquor store.
Yes.
Did you? I think it's out of Montreal.
And
it's my one and only. It's my fave.
nice.
Yes.
I was actually going to look for some gluten-free beers because I know last time we had talked, you had mentioned that. So I thought if I could find some, and then I got hung up on the beers I found. So we're going to stick with that. Joe, where are you at right now? Your season starts Thursday for the Blue Jays. We know you'll be on the panel for that. Where's home base right now?
I am at home in Windsor, Ontario. I will head out early in the morning, Wednesday morning, to Toronto. Get there at noonish or so. I'll head to the studio tomorrow afternoon, and Jamie Campbell and I will do a little preview hit, just a small, quick segment in the afternoon from our studios. And then back at it Thursday morning. Our show begins at noon on Thursday at Sportsnet. It's going to be an hour-long Blue Jays Central, all kinds of good stuff coming, and getting ready for the Yankees broadcast.
How excited are you that ball season's here for Thursday?
You know, guys, I've been asked this question a lot by friends over the last week, and I think I finally come to my conclusion. And luckily for you guys, you're the ones that are going to get this first time.
Oh,
as a player, you love to get down to spring training. You get going, you get tuned up, you get ready for games. And it's quite a process, right? You start with a couple at bats a game or however many innings behind the plate, and you build up. And you build up. Now, my life as a broadcaster has been a little different. Normally, I'm in Florida right now covering the Blue Jays, but that didn't happen this year. So I've been at home following them, trying to listen or watch a little bit when they're on, following the story. So from a distance, following the team is far different because now I'm relying on a lot of other people. And I don't like doing that. I like relying on myself and using my own eyes. So when I'm down in Dunedin, I can watch a Danny Jansen at bat. I can watch how guys are handling a certain pitcher. I can watch all of those things in much greater depth. So that part of it's going to be more difficult for me. But unfortunately now when the games start, I will be analyzing what I'm watching. And that's what I miss more than anything about in this job now as an analyst, because as a player, that last week of spring training, you're done with it. You just want to get to that city you're going to, whether it's your home city or somewhere else, and get playing games for real. But honestly, as a broadcaster, I've kind of felt the same way as a player this last week. It's just like I've heard enough of the jargon and the opinions and who's going to do what. I'm tired of hearing how great a shape somebody came in. I'm tired of hearing how great a spring some guy had, because I've seen guys have great springs and then the curtain goes up opening day and they go 2 for their first 20. Or if a pitcher had a great spring, they give up 6 opening day. So I can't wait for it to start in a nutshell.
So you kind of touched on it there. How weird has it been to not be at spring training? So does that make your job, like you said, you're going to be watching it for the first time? How difficult is that going to be to not have that feeling of being in the ballpark or seeing things that you wouldn't get to see on TV?
Well, more difficult because when I am in Florida, I get to see things up front, and I, in all due respect to all the media members in the world, I don't like trusting somebody else what they're writing or what they're saying about somebody when I didn't see it, because I feel that there are narratives out there about this guy and how he's been touching 96 on the radar gun and the secondary pitches have been great, and then the next person jumps on. You just keep hearing more and more. It kind of like builds momentum, and all of a sudden this. Whoever it is you're referring to, this pitcher is built up to be, how does this guy not make the opening day roster? How is he not considered for a starting rotation spot? I haven't even seen him yet. And that's why I can't jump on that bandwagon until I actually see him. So that's the most difficult thing. And that's why in the Blue Jays case, we've heard of, Robbie Ray, Steven Matz, these new acquisitions, Ross Stripling we saw last year, but these are all names that we think we're going to see in the Blue Jays starting rotation, and everybody's getting all excited about their performances. I haven't seen a whole lot, so therefore I don't have a whole lot to get excited about because I am one that has to see it first. And, Robbie Ray has had all kinds of troubles with the strike zone, and that's kind of been the story of his career. High walk guy, high strikeout guy. For me, that's a concern because that kind of leads to a marginal performance. He's had some great years in the past. But last year, not so great, especially when he put on a Blue Jays uniform, and they signed him quickly, hoping that he can rebound. Steven Matz had a rough year, and again, I think we take that pandemic year, shortened season with a grain of salt. He's had good success in the past. The Blue Jays are banking on a number of guys, especially on one-year deals, to regain their form and kind of put away that 2020 season that didn't go so well for like a Matz or like a Marcus Semien. So that's a gamble for sure. And if they certainly took a gamble on Kirby Yates and lost because his arm blew up in spring training, and they've lost their closer. So, I mean, these are all things that if I'm in Florida, I'm much closer to. I'm talking to players. I'm talking to coaches. I really miss that because I love it, but I also miss it because it's an integral part of my job that now I've just got to literally go by with what I see on TV now.
Joe, I'm a diehard Blue Jays fan. Tim is a diehard Detroit Tigers fan. Can you tell Tim how bad the Tigers are really going to be this year?
Come on.
Be patient.
I was going to ask the opposite of that. I was going to hope that Joe could give me some sort of glimmer of hope in watching 162 games of the Tigers this year.
Patience is going to be your favorite word.
Oh.
No, you know, it's the one nice thing and encouraging sign we're seeing from the Tigers is that farm system is building up.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when you have some terrible years, right, you get those top draft picks. They need to hit on some of these top draft picks, and they've got good pitching now from the draft. And they're starting to stockpile a little bit more in the position player area. But it takes time, and the Blue Jays have seen that. They had to unload a lot of big contracts and veteran players. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's taken them 3, 4, 5 years to get to this point where now they're talking about competing and winning in the AL East. Are they where they want to be yet? I don't think so. But they should be in that conversation now with the Yankees and Rays, and that's a good thing. And Red Sox, even though I think a lot of us have kind of written them off. But for the Tigers, it's going to be a couple more years. But the big if is if some of these draft prospects pan out, and you have to hit on them, because if you don't hit on your number ones, you're relying on a lot of other things. Because that's one thing the Blue Jays, I will say, have done well in recent years. They're drafting well, they're developing, and then now they have the resources, the money to go out and sign a George Springer and get a Simeon on a 1-year deal at $18 million. If you can draft and develop with your young core, which they've done extremely well, and then sprinkle in those, that to me is the recipe of success. But they're in a very tough division in the AL East, and that's one thing with the Tigers, though. You can say they're in the Central over there, but that Central's getting tougher every year, too. The White Sox are going to be very tough this year.
Joe, Tim, sorry, we had a question, and this is BJ. BJ has a question here, and he says, Joe, with the season split between Florida and Buffalo, which I don't know if they've confirmed Buffalo yet, as well as the Sky Dome needing about $20 million upgrade, do you think this could spell the end of baseball in Canada? It's pretty dour.
I don't think so. I don't buy into that. I heard a little bit of that last week, I believe it was. I think by starting in Florida, it just makes a lot of sense. Number one, for the weather, and number two, because they don't have to uproot or move anything. Everybody can just stay right, basically working out in the spring training facility at that stadium. So they're very comfortable in their surroundings and environment. So that part of it works well. If it goes into, say, June, and that's when we know it starts heating up in Florida, that'd be an ideal time to go to Buffalo if indeed they can't come to Canada just yet. And that's probably a little bit out of their hands. That's going to be up to the federal government. But I think Buffalo worked okay last year, worked very well, all things considering. That's certainly not what you want, but you don't want to be in a AAA stadium. But this Dunedin thing could be a little concerning too, because it's all of the renovations are wonderful. It's a beautiful little stadium, looks like now. But it's still small. And I think we might see some fireworks there because the Blue Jays have a good offense. But you're also going to get the Yankees and Angels and some of these other teams coming into a small ballpark. You know, if you've ever been there, it's kind of landlocked a little bit. It's on a city block. So out in left field, beyond the left field fence is an elementary school. So I don't believe there was room to expand and make it bigger. And then there's a city municipal library down the right field line. So they didn't have a lot of room. They had some of their buildings beyond the right field bullpen. So they built the fences up a bit, but they're not further back. And I don't know the exact dimensions, but the wind howls down there, especially in spring. So if it does into April and May, we could see some high scoring games.
Remember in elementary school, the best day was when the janitor went up on the roof and threw the balls down? Do you imagine sitting in that schoolyard and Vladdy Guerrero hits a home run and you got that would be legendary. Timmer, did you have something there? Sorry, I think
no, it's fine. Joe, put yourself in the players' shoes for this season. Again, it's not going to be as different as it was last year, but there's still going to be tons of challenges. What do you see as some of the big challenges for these players to try and get through this 162 this year?
Well, I think you have to right away look at pitchers. I think for position players, so it was a shortened season last year. They got the regular offseason. They're coming into spring training. If I'm a hitter or a catcher, in fact, you should be pretty fresh because it was a shortened season last year. As a pitcher, this is where I think across the league, you are going to see not different handlings of pitching staffs, because we're already seeing where the game has gone. Starting pitchers don't go as deep. Managers go to bullpens sooner and more often. There are more relief pitchers pitching in baseball games than ever before. But coming off the pandemic shortened season, we're hearing more and more across the game that there are a lot of innings now to cover. 60 games to 162 games. That's a lot of pitching innings. So your starters last year that made 10, 11, 12 starts, if they're going to make 30 starts this year, do you think they're just going to jump right up to 175 to 200 innings? Could be an issue. Now, it shouldn't be an issue for a pitcher that's done it before. I'm not going to get into the medical side of it because, quite frankly, I have a problem with a lot of the protecting of pitchers that they do in the game today, and the workloads and the pitch counts, all these things that they use, because everything that's being utilized that we hear that is so great, and we know sports science has come a long ways, but we're still seeing major injuries, major number of injuries. So Buck Martinez and I joke about this all the time, or not joke, we actually we're serious about it. It's almost as though we think maybe they don't allow pitchers to pitch enough, like they should be throwing a baseball more. Because of all of the protection of these workloads. Now you're going from that shortened season to the long one. They're going to be protecting arms. Well, I think maybe let them go a little bit, especially a guy like a Ryu or Garrett Cole opening day we're seeing. You guys have done it before. So there shouldn't necessarily have to be, as they build into their seasons, that protection. But I have a feeling for the Blue Jays, we are going to see, every pitcher that was in spring training, we're probably going to see them at some point, because they're going to be trying to cover innings any way they can. And if they have any trouble with that starting rotation, which to me there are question marks, and they're going to the bullpen a lot, they're going to be going through a lot of pitchers.
So that's the on-field, the baseball between the lines and folks in 162 games, the innings, blah, blah, blah. What about when these guys leave the stadium and the restrictions that are in place and trying to keep them healthy and not contracting COVID throughout the season? Or those rules in place? Last year, 60 games, it was basically a playoff run for the entire season. This year you got 162. How do you keep these guys at bars or clubs or running out to the grocery store or gatherings, like all the things that normal people have to deal with and have that risk? What about players now trying to keep them healthy for an entire season?
Yeah, interesting question that you go there, because I had just heard the other day, have you heard of these devices that the players have been wearing in spring training? And what it does, it tracks where you are, and it's for contact tracing, but it's just while you're with the team doing baseball activities at the club's facility. They, of course, for privacy issues, can't have them wear these things when they go home. So that's out of their hands. Now, the only good thing about all of this probably is that we know that the vaccines are getting doled out pretty good over in the U.S. right now. And I heard through Major League Baseball that they're going to lighten the restrictions, I believe, of teams if they come up with a certain number of vaccines with their traveling group, players, coaches, and all the people that travel with them. So that's an interesting thing, because now you're starting to get into that realm of, what if some players don't want to? As we know, some people do not want vaccination. So if you have a number that you don't reach that percentage, then, it's almost like our teammates going to be talking to other guys that don't want to get it and say, hey, come on, man, you got to get it so that we can go over dinner after a game or do these things, because those are issues like you just mentioned. I'm sure last year it was very difficult to basically get off the bus at the hotel and go right to your room and get room service. That'd be real tough for 162, because we all like to go, even if it's down to the hotel bar, and have a beer after the game, or you have family visit from out of town. This is another world. Obviously, we all know that. But I think in my playing days and most friends that I had, that's what we did. And it wasn't every night, but it was always nice to go for a bite to eat and a beer after a game somewhere. And so the adjustments were made last year, but to have to do it again over 162, that'd be very challenging. And it's probably going to be challenging for the teams to convince their players not to. But hopefully with the vaccine getting doled out the way it is in the U.S., maybe some teams will be getting to that threshold where their restrictions are loosened.
Obviously, post game, we're going back to your playing days. Yeah, you want to grab a beer, grab a dinner. How many times did it go to that one more beer game? Just one more, until the next day it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to catch or hit, or does it ever get to that point? I know you're professionals, but how many times did it go, one more beer, one more too many?
I'll be honest. I wasn't kind of that late night carouser that could do that because I just couldn't function. That just wasn't me. I know plenty of teammates that were. But you know what? Honestly, one of my favorite things, and it was especially in the minor leagues, but it happened in the big leagues too, is after a game, sitting around the clubhouse. And there's a game on TV, and you're having your bite to eat and a couple beers, and a couple beers might turn into a couple more beers. But you're all literally just still sitting there in your shorts and T-shirt, watching the game on TV, talking about the game you just played, and literally talking shop. You start having hitting conversations. Those were my favorite times, and a lot of my teammates' favorite times too, is just hanging out in the clubhouse. I mean, there were times our clubby would say, hey, guys, I'm thinking of getting ready to go here soon. But, you know, why shower and clean up and go out somewhere when you can have some beers right in the clubhouse? The game is on, and you're with your buddies. Like, it doesn't get any better. So those were good times. Those were really fun times for me, and harmless. But, yeah, I think we've all had probably those nights. But you kind of got to pick your times, too. You don't do it when you have a day game the next day. I was a backup player. I had to be ready to play every day, so I don't have any days off.
That's funny. What do you got there, Timmy?
What role do you think it's going to be that there's going to be some places that are not many fans in the stands? How does that affect a player's game? I know they did it last year, but what's the effect on a player's game without a packed stadium and those diehards cheering them on every day?
Yeah, I'm sure the players thought it was very awkward last year. I would think it'd be very awkward. Interestingly, though, as a catcher, in some of the biggest crowds that I played in front of, and when people ask me, it's like you don't really know that you're playing in front of 40, 50,000 because you're so focused on your task and what you're doing. Right. But I did hear, and especially as a catcher, you're facing out to the field, so you're not really seeing the grandstands in behind you. But I think a lot of guys made references, even the guys that we had on our show and talking about that topic, just weird, like eerily silent when you're up to bat and you hear everything. Like you hear the coach yelling from the dugout to a player. You hear players on the field yelling to each other to move over a step or go right one or whatever the case may be. So that must have been really awkward. But I also heard, and I thought this was like even in spring training now, where some of the facilities, of course, had limited fans this spring. I mean, to have 2,000 people at a game this spring must have felt like 40,000 after what they went through last year. Now, it's going to be very interesting for the Blue Jays because they're opening up in New York, in the Bronx against the Yankees, but then they go to Texas, and it'll be the Texas Rangers home opener. And my understanding is that in Texas, it's full capacity. I think they have to be masked, but full capacity. So, I bet there are a lot of Blue Jays players that can't wait for that. Just to feel that vibe and that adrenaline. Sure. And to play in another team's opening day is always extra special. But, yeah, it's going to be very different for players. And I'm sure most players would react to that question by saying, I'll take 3,000 people in a stadium right now or 5 because it feels like 35.
We kind of touched on it from your analyst side of you, but not being at the games. But I'm sure you've talked to Buck Martinez or Pat Tabler. And how is it like broadcasting a game when they're not there? It's obviously much more difficult, but is it hard for them to stay in the game?
I don't think it's hard to stay in the game because when you're analyzing, I mean, you're right. We love the game. Like Buck and Tabby and Dan and myself, when we're doing a game, I mean, we love what we do, guys. We absolutely love our job and we're right into it, knee deep. I mean, but what we miss more than anything last year, and I know we're talking to Buck and Tabby a bit this year, and they've had a little bit of contact, but is the contact with players and coaches and that relationship. You can really build relationships with guys. And Charlie Montoya was my teammate in AAA in Ottawa and in Montreal. So I've got a relationship where I can contact him anytime I need. If I need a question answered, because let's face it, when we do the Zoom calls every day, you're not going to get every question answered. I want to say honestly, right? You're talking, the players and coaches are talking to 30 media members. But if I want to know some scoop and I want to know why somebody's out of the lineup, I might drop a quick text. But that's what they were saying even too, is that we miss those things because we've built relationships with players and coaches. We can get some inside scoop sometime, not stuff that I can use on the air, but in my head, I might now know why Bo Bichette's not in the lineup today, because instead of me going on my show and ranting why he's not in the lineup, how ridiculous it is, I might find out why, but it's not made public. Hey, maybe he showed up at the ballpark and his hamstring's tight. But they don't want to make that as a report and tell that to the other team. So those things are helpful. And when the Blue Jays, for example, are playing even in Toronto at the Rogers Centre, we're down on the field every day. And we're in the manager's office every day for that meeting. And then you can always get guys off to the side one-on-one if you want. And that helps a ton. So I know Buck and Tabby had talked about that in Florida. Limited access, limited to none. So that's tough. And then that's the way it's going to be, calling games off monitors. Buck and Tabby will be at the stadium in Dunedin live calling the games.
Oh.
And I noticed they did say on the broadcast the other day that they had some conversations. I don't know how close they got to people, but at least close enough to, Buck referred to, I think last week when I talked to him, he said he caught Robbie Ray in the parking lot, like across the parking lot. And I mean, those are conversations we used to have like right up one-on-one, catch them on the field or in the bullpen. And they're so helpful for the jobs that we do because it helps us bring the game to you, the audience on TV. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's limited. But, especially Buck and Tabby, they've been around so long too, and Dan, that they have enough relationships and contact people to find things out when they need. So we usually can, but there's still and you guys know, relationships are wonderful in life, let alone in the jobs that we do. So that's the thing they miss, I know, a lot right now and will miss this year, especially when the game's on the road and they're calling off a monitor. That's Buck and Dan did a great job last year out of our studio in Toronto. If they didn't talk about it, you probably wouldn't have known, but it's very difficult when you can't see the whole field.
Joe, I know this is your last night at home before you head off to Toronto and then start analyzing the season and following along. So we don't want to keep too long. I just want, and you don't have to give us the full story. Maybe just clarify. I understand that in 2000, your final year in the minors, 32 years old, your last game, is it true? Was it a no-hitter you caught in your very last game? Is that the story?
Even better.
Am I making this up?
Even better. Perfect game.
A perfect game.
Perfect game. So I was in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, playing for the Red Sox AAA affiliate. I had signed with the Red Sox in spring training, was in big league camp with them, got assigned to AAA. It was myself and Tim Spear, actually a former Expos catcher. We were the two catchers, veteran guys in AAA. And I thought I was a minor league free agent, and I said, if I get a call that somebody wants me, I'll go play. If not, I was going to move on. Well, first day I was a minor league free agent, I got a call from the Red Sox. Some of their executives had come over from the Expos, so they were familiar with me, just looking for another veteran catcher in AAA to help their young staff. So this particular day, and I've been pondering, talking to my wife after the games on the phone and pondering retirement. And just, I was thinking even being away from home was getting difficult. We had 4 children at the time. And it was due to the point where, you'll hear athletes say like they know when they're losing the fire. I was kind of losing the fire because I was playing part-time. And I thought even as a defensive guy, a call up to Boston in September, as awesome as that would be, it's going to be another month away from my family, and the kids are going to be back in school, a couple of them. So it was just not a good time. And I thought, we finally came to the decision. I go to the ballpark that day, and I went early. I went to probably around 2:30 or so, thinking I would go catch the manager when I arrived to let him know that I'm hanging him up. This will be my last day. So I get to the ballpark to do that. Not many people around, but the lineup's already posted. Gary Jones was the manager, went on to be a third base coach with the Cubs. And the lineup's posted, and I'm playing. And as I said, I was just splitting time at the time, and wouldn't you know it, 50-50. Well, this was my day. I was playing. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just go play the game, and I'll go in afterwards. So I played the game when I was catching Tomo Oka. I think he ended up playing for the Blue Jays, few teams. Remember the name? Yeah. And he was really good at the time, good young pitcher at the time. And he threw a perfect game. Wow. Unbelievable. 27 up, 27 down. And I just remember, I mean, it's memorable because he was really good. And I think there were a couple of close calls. David Eckstein was our second baseman. I think he made a great play in like the 6th inning, if I recall. I remember reading some articles about it too. And so a couple of close calls, but he was awesome that night. Perfect game. Of course, we're celebrating after the game. We go into the clubhouse and everybody's going crazy. And I just remember thinking, you got to be kidding me. So I couldn't go in and retire because I didn't want to rain on his parade. I just kind of took part in it all. And I was an older guy too at the time, being 32 in AAA. And I thought, I'll wait till the next day. So I came in the next day. And Dave, I think our minor league director was in town at the time too. So it worked out perfectly, but that's how it went down. I went to retire. Awesome. I wasn't even going to play that game. I went in to say I'm done. Thought, sure, catch one more. What the heck? Wow. It was a perfect game. So yeah, amazing. Crazy how things work. It wasn't by design at all, but that is a true story. Yes, not a no-hitter, but a perfect game.
Awesome. Don't lie. That was a 1 more beer night, wasn't it?
It probably was a 3 more beer night.
Too fun. I think that's a good place to end, Timmer. Is what end there
for sure. So, yeah, we're good, buddy.
Joe, we want to just point out quickly, we're wearing these hats, the Chatham Black All Stars. Here, I'll get ready some clothes.
Gotcha.
Tim, you got the story here. Give Joe a little background on this.
I got the Sons of Kent beer that they made for the Chatham Colored All-Stars. So it was 1934. Chatham All-Stars were trailblazers competing for and winning the Ontario Baseball Championship. They were going through some definitely some challenges during that time in breaking the color barrier. There is a big push right now to try and get them into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame. And Cloudy and I have definitely jumped on board with this, and we're going to recruit you to jump on board with us as well for this. I
sent you my address for the delivery.
I'll send you. You're getting a hat, and we'll see if we can get you a book too. It's a children's book, but there's a push on, and
I just read about them a little bit when you sent me that, and that's Fergie's dad was involved in that too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's quite the story, and we'll get it to you, and hopefully you can follow along, and we can get that push into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Joe, good luck. 12 o'clock on Thursday, opening day. There's nothing better. Enjoy it this season, and best of luck. And thanks for finding some time to join us again today.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. Thanks, and enjoy it. New baseball season's upon us.
Oh, love it.
Joe.
Love
Take
it.
Care.
Joe Siddle, Toronto Blue Jays, and Sportsnet. The opening day is coming up on. Let me see if I can get there. You go. There we go. Opening day is coming up on Thursday. Jays are playing the Yankees, and the Tigers are playing the Indians. 1 o'clock. Timmer, is there anything better than opening day,
Doesn't that get you excited? Just listening to Joe's excitement for the season coming up. Ah, man. And I know the Tigers suck, man. I know, and the Blue Jays are going to be good. But, man, does it feel good talking baseball again?
Is there anything better than opening day at Tiger Stadium back in the day?
Oh, buddy. Can't beat it.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. You know what really hit home, though, when Joe was talking about hanging in the clubhouse? I'm not sure if you noticed today, buddy, wearing my Sons of Kent Dover 2-pitch jersey is on. We are going to try and have a Dover 2-pitch season this year.
Did it shrink in the wash, Tim?
No, I've just been bulking up. It's been bulk season. It's been bulking, getting ready to swing the lumber. But, when he was talking about hanging out in the clubhouse, like, honestly, that's the part that we're going to miss on the – oh, buddy.
Here's Joe. This is Joe. This is him, early days of Montreal. Jumping out from behind the plate. There's Joe right there. Former Montreal Expo, Florida.
You know what I was thinking when he was talking about playing in not front of a lot of crowds? He played at the O, which is very similar to playing in the conditions that they'll be playing this year, I guess.
Yep. There's Joe. I think that's his first major league hit. I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Solid base hit.
Dude, like legendary. That's his first. Look at him. Yeah. That's Joe Siddle. He's from Windsor, and we'll be heading up to Toronto on Thursday for opening day of the Jays and the New York Yankees, and he'll be on the panel throughout the season with Jamie Campbell, and then, of course, a former Tiger. There's Philippe Alou. Look at that, eh? He's a former Tiger. He hit his only home run at Tiger Stadium. He told us that in the first visit.
One day I would love to hit a home run too, like Joe Siddle did. I'm still waiting for it, buddy. Still waiting for it. That's why I was bulking up this season, right? Bulking up in the off season. Had a year off last year. Been bulking up. Jim's buying what I'm selling. See, he knows. Jim knows.
Jimmy's on that purity. He's
on the cutting. He's cutting weight now. I am. I'm peaking right now. I'm gonna start cutting weight.
That's awesome. Joe Siddle. I wanted to ask him too, and I didn't know how we would handle it, so probably better that we didn't, is that the Rogers Sportsnet team decided to cut radio broadcasts this year. So there's no radio only. There's going to be TV on radio, which is
it's not the same, man. And you know what? We talked about this last time Joe was on here in the Legendary Voices. Mine was obviously Ernie Harwell, but that's baseball. It's not listening to a radio or a TV broadcast. No. You know what? And for being a Tigers fan, I actually like Buck. Buck's a good dude. Actually, I like calling him when he calls the international games. Like, he's got a great call. He pisses me off when he's calling the Blue Jays, but Whatever.
Oh, I can't
Whatever,
wait.
buddy.
I
That was
cannot wait.
good to see Joe again. He looks like he can still play right now, though, right?
We should have asked him if he'd play 2-pitch with us. Like,
Can you imagine?
Could you imagine?
We got a call up here. It's former Major League catcher Joe Siddle.
Joe Siddle is our leadoff hitter. That would be sick. All right, Timmer, let's get to the Beer Buzz in the final episode of season 4. You have a couple things that you've gathered here that you want to touch on. You lead it off, and I'll follow your lead here.
Sure. I saw today Collective Arts, which is known for their tremendous artwork. I'm not sure if this is one of their best, but I feel like and no, I'm not an artist, but I feel like I could pull this one off. Collective Arts is doing a call for spring art. Yeah. So I'm throwing out a challenge. They'll say they'll take anyone. You don't have to be a professional. I'm saying I think Cloudy and we're going to throw in a picture. We'll send it to Collective Arts. Well, do you see this one?
That looks like a guy in rainbow pants bending over.
See?
Is that what that is?
I think so. I think that's what the artist is called. So call to art. I suggest if you have some artistic ability like this, send it to Collective Arts. Cloudy and I are going to send ours in. Hopefully we can get ourselves on a Collective Arts game. I remember visiting the National Capitol Gallery in Ottawa and staring at the artwork there and saying, I could do this. This is my opportunity right now to make some art and get it on a beer can where it deserves to be. I like it.
That's the can right there. Coming soon.
People would buy that.
There. That's cool. I love that idea. They were a good guest. One of my top breweries on my brewery leaderboard. I got them up there.
Solid.
Yeah. What else you got, Timmy?
Nickelbrook. I don't even know. This just came across, and I was like, it's free shipping on Tuesday. So if you like Nickelbrook, go on the Nickelbrook website. We have not had Nickelbrook on. Maybe in the future we will. And Tuesday's free Ontario shipping. So go on there. The code is BeerMe, which also sold me on ordering from Nickelbrook today. So put my order in for Nickelbrook and use the code BeerMe.
I love that.
Send you a beer. No shipping. It's beauty.
I love that. And Tim, we thought we'd take the chance when we had some attention from some people to remind people that the charity 50/50 with the Chatham Kent Hospice and the Children's Treatment Center Foundation, which we have supported with a couple of things in the past, of the 50/50 drive. You got your tickets yet?
I did get my tickets. I got my tickets early. I got the a million tickets for $50 or something. I think is what you get.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I feel like the more the merrier. So jump in on this again. The 50/50 raffles, we know that they take off in that last week. Yeah. And they'll start growing here. So get in there, get your tickets, watch this grow. 2 great charities locally for us here in Chatham Kent. But if you live in Ontario, buy some tickets, win some money. Good stuff.
For sure, for sure. A couple things, Tim, that we have to play, or we wanted to play for you here tonight. Actually, you know what I did? I grabbed this, and I wanted to ask Joe if he remembered this moment here.
Oh.
When he got ran over. Like,
who is that?
That's Raul Ibanez.
Oh, look at the size of Raul Ibanez's forearms. Yeah. That doesn't feel good, Joe.
No. Good times. Man, I forgot I was going to ask Joe about that, but we got some other stuff there. Season 6.
Joe Siddle.
We'll have him back. You said this to me, Tim. I thought this was funny. We could use this as our low light of the week, and we have all been there. Because we've had this struggle of trying to put your mask on in public. You know what I did today? So when I went to Sobeys and I grabbed my beers a couple hours ago, lost my sandal, blew a tire so I get in and the girl says, "Do you have air miles?" I said, "Yep." So I took my mask off. That's like, yeah, I do.
Your air miles?
And then I was like, well, it's not printed on my face. What the hell am I doing? And it was like, and I looked at her. I was like, oh, like shun. I was like, oh my God. So I've slipped my mask, but I was just all over the place, right? So go ahead.
I do want to set this up though, because TSN has been picking up ESPN women's March Madness games. And again, we know from following Bridget Carleton and Team Canada and Iowa State that the women's game is amazing. So taking nothing away from this video. Last night, Baylor UConn, Last shot, Baylor had a chance, got fouled, 100%. It was a foul. No call. This is Kim Mulkey, head coach of the Baylor team, on the struggle bus after the game, though.
Struggle bus, 100%.
What did you see when Dejanay drove the ball from where you were standing?
What did you see?
I was surprised they didn't call a foul.
Then write it like that. You don't need a quote from me. I've got still shots and video from 2 angles. One kid hits her in the face and one kid hits her on the elbow.
She's currently one of the most successful basketball coaches out there. Tremendous teams with Baylor, but she cannot figure out how to get the mask on, and I'm not sure why it's going in her eyeball. And
her nose set a screen. That's what happened. That's what happened.
What did you see when Dejanay drove the ball from where you were standing?
What did you see?
What is she doing?
I was surprised they didn't call a foul.
Then write it like that. You don't need a quote from me. I've got still shots and video from 2 angles. One kid hits her in the face and one kid hits her on the elbow.
I can't handle it. I can't handle it. One, again, respect Kim Mulkey, but she was a nemesis against Iowa State. Played in the Big 12. Didn't like Kim Mulkey. That made me howl when I saw her struggling. Again, a great basketball mind cannot figure out how to get a mask on straight. Also, the purpose of a mask is to not take it off while you talk.
Clarify. Hold on. Let me show you my air miles.
Let me jam this into my eyeball. Oh, I'm good, buddy.
But we've all been there, right? Like
100%. Oh yeah. Every time I go into the bathroom at work and I look at my mask and it's cockeyed, and I'm like, what am I doing? Is it that hard? Apparently it is. Kim Mulkey had a hell of a time trying to get that going.
It is.
Oh, buddy.
Timmer, we have been sitting on this next. I can't tell you without telling you the whole video. Let's play this, Tim, because we've got some time. Okay, we've been sitting on this video. We're gonna blow out the library and start anew for season 4, okay? Or season 5. We've been sitting on this video. You sent it to me for episode 2. It's been sitting here in the library waiting for us to get to it. We just never have gotten to it.
I don't even know what it is.
It's Nest Cam footage or security cam footage of someone's house. They've obviously had a good night.
Yes.
Right. So we've been wanting to play this, and it's just been sitting here. It's timeless. So this is just
it is.
This couple had a good night.
They had a great night.
Here they go. Let's head off to bed, maybe, or I don't know. But they're bringing some drinks. So whoops. Little speed wobble. Oh, she needs a helmet.
I'm gonna guess they didn't need these last drinks.
No.
Heads up.
No.
Heads up.
Oh.
This guy bounces back though.
Oh,
he bounces back. He's a trooper.
God. Right back on the horse, pal. Let's go.
I don't think he tries with the drinks though. Yeah, no, he's done.
I don't need the drinks, he says.
He's
like, you all right?
Get out of the way.
Can't believe you pushed me.
That's a bit of a mess. We'll clean that up in the morning. Let me help you here.
Don't worry, the dog will get it.
No, I'm gonna take your drink and I'm gone.
Yeah. Remember the name game, Tim, we've played? And we give a little background, a little story here.
What do you think your name is?
A little name game here. That's Roseanne.
Oh, Roseanne. Okay.
Chuck and Roseanne. And they've just met. They've just met. Yeah. It was Tinder. It was a Tinder date. Roseanne, we're going up. Bye, Roseanne. Bye, Roseanne. Chuck's still at the top of the stairs. He's like,
he's almost got it. No,
you said you were DTF. Where are we going?
He's coming back for. He felt bad.
Yeah. Chuck's like, oh, Roseanne. Jeez, I swept right on you.
JT has a great idea here, though. This is a perfect commercial for
Acorn stair lift.
Acorn stair lift.
Look at, is he lecturing Roseanne about her drinking?
So he's
Roseanne,
like, why did you fall down?
you pushed me to start.
Obviously, you've had too much to drink. I will tell you, I've never been in that position before.
No, never have fallen down the stairs. Never fallen down the stairs. I like, they're so, here, hold on, before I start again, they're so giddy to get upstairs. That's what makes me think it's a Tinder date. They're
Okay,
like,
all right.
They're
That
like,
makes sense. Gotta go.
let's go upstairs. Let's
It's
continue
game
this
on.
party. Let's
Game
continue
on.
this party. Netflix and chill has been, let's go.
He looks like he's drinking whiskey, though.
Look at how fast he is. He's like,
He's
hustle.
ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
Double fisting some whiskey.
Roseanne, this
and
is
then
the way.
who invents a staircase with a twist?
Roseanne's
like,
like, whoa, geez, that's a turn. That's a right. I didn't realize. Chuck is just busted. Look at Chuck's gone already. Now Roseanne's like, oh, he's dead. He's dead.
Chuck.
And they're gonna think I did it.
Oh,
Chuck.
bounced back.
Oh, goodbye.
I don't know if I was Chuck right now, if I'm bouncing back right now.
No, Chuck's a star.
I think I'm gonna stay on the floor.
Chuck's a rock star. He's like, geez, Roseanne, you had to pull me down the stairs. Look at what you did.
Look at the mess you made.
You made such a mess. Why?
Look at the mess you made. This is a terrible mess. I'm taking your drink and I'm ready to go.
I don't want to point. I don't want to be. Well, here we could start it again. Has Chuck messed himself?
He has? Before or after he falls?
Have a closer look in that region, okay? We don't have to do this all night. Well, we could, but
Like
here's
before
Chuck.
he goes?
Chuck hustling. Let's see if he's already had a bit of an accident, Chuck.
Oh, buddy. Look how fast.
Chuck.
This is
Chuck,
like re-entering,
right here. He's like,
the atmosphere. This is
Chuck,
the same,
get it.
it's the same feeling that our guest Chris Hadfield had while re-entering the atmosphere.
Okay. So this is where I think Chuck may have messed himself. And Roseanne now he's like, oh God, how am I going to explain this to Roseanne?
And
like, have a look here. Maybe it's just me. Maybe he landed in it. Oh, there's a little spot there.
Yeah, he pooped his pants.
Ah, Chuck.
If you were falling from that distance at that velocity, I think you would mess yourself too.
When Chuck saw the upper level, he was like, and then he missed the last one.
So
otherwise,
close.
he was in bed asleep while Roseanne was still stuck on the third
He
stair.
would have been there till the next day, 100%.
She would have been there when his wife got home.
That's why Chuck was in a hurry. He should lay off the sauce a bit when he has his girlfriend over. Oh, buddy.
That was a good one.
Season, eh? It's been a good season.
We've got guest one lined up already.
We do.
We're geek for this next one, and we've set the bar high, and we're very concerned about ever reaching that bar again. But we've got some cool guests, and if you ever have an idea and you're like, hey, you know who you should have on, or I know so and so, reach out, get a hold of us through social media or text or call or whatever, because we'd love your suggestions. And if we can find some people, we could track down some people. We'd do that. Hey, Dan Seuss is tuned in from Natterjack. Danny, what's going on over at Natterjack? We'll have to get up to Eagle here real soon and have a beer with Daniel Seuss. Yeah, and then you don't have stairs though, do you, Daniel? Like,
we stay on level terrain. I think that's what we look like when this pandemic's over and it's our first night out drinking. We look like Chuck and Roseanne trying to get up the stairs afterwards. Yep. That's fair.
Yeah. More suggestions for name game, because we're going to do that again. We're going to do a whole episode name game in season 5 where we come up with stories and videos. I like it doesn't always have to just be pictures. It could be videos, just like Chuck and Roseanne right there. So I'm just making sure we covered everything. Timmer, ball season starts Thursday. Jays versus New York, Tigers versus Cleveland. It's supposed to snow on Thursday, so that's awesome.
The best opening days are when they snow.
Hell yeah. Do we cover everything, Timmer? Because we're going to be off for a little while here. What do you? Anything else?
I think we got it, buddy. I'm feeling good. Yeah, I think that's it, dude. I like doing this. Let's keep doing it. It's been almost 1 year now. We're just shy of 1 year. So
Nice.
just kegging new. Oh man, fresh beer.
Daniel,
We gotta
seriously,
get up. We gotta get up to Natterjack and have a beer.
Get
No,
up
I
to
think we're
Natterjack.
good, buddy. I think we can block
gonna-
off the stairs.
I blog out the stairs. That's awesome. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. It is season 4. That's a wrap. Timmer, we should thank again as always.
Oh, we want to thank Shauna for her continued support during season 4. And our good friend Chris McLeod, if you're looking to buy or sell, this is the time to do it. Market is hot. Chris will sell it for you. We'll buy it for you. And tune in season 5, episode 1, Pakistan Super League. It's one of your friends.
Are we guaranteeing the MVP next year? Are we guaranteeing that?
100%. 100% guarantee.
It's happening.
Pakistan Super League MVP will be live. Episode 5, season 1. Tune in. Few weeks. Looking forward to it.
Cheers, Timmer.
Thanks, Cloudy.